You know who you are, you feel who you are, you feel the resonance of who you are. You know that you are more than this body. And while you're in this body, you still are that more. You are source energy. And while you are in this body, you are still source energy. You still have this connection. You know this. You understand law of attraction. You understand all of this. And even if you never understood law of attraction before, as long as you understand that it's just all about feeling good, it's about moving in the direction of things that feel good, then you got it. You understand the formula, because this is what all this is about. This is what all this dialogue is about, this conversation. And every video is truly in an attempt to get you to soothe where you are, to feel better where you are. Because where you stand right now and how you feel about right now where you stand is the totality of your life experience. And then the next moment, the next moment, the next moment. We know there's a list of things that you want and that you are so excited to get. But truly, we know that once you get there, you're going to want more. And truly, you can't get there unless you make peace with where you are right now. For that is what is required. What's required is the preparation of this vibrational moment into the vibrational feeling or the vibrational frequency of what you want, so that what you want can't come to you. You can have everything that you want. You don't have to settle. Someone who's settling is used to this type of thought where you have to be patient because you're not going to get what you want. You have to be patient because there's only a certain amount of action. Things take a certain time. There's only so much action in a day. There is action and you can get rewarded for it. But what we're talking about over here is not about what the action or the creations that you can create with your action. No. This is what you can create with the power of non-resistant thought one, but also the inspiration that does come from your source energy. Because all inspiration is momentum. Once you get momentum, you could be driving and you could have the momentum of anger and you could be screaming at people on the road. You could have road rage. That's what road rage is about. It's about inspiration. But where are you getting inspiration from? You see, it's all very interesting when you really understand that you're getting how you feel. There's evidence everywhere about how you feel. That's what this physical reality is about. That's why what was so interesting about you coming into this time and space, because in this time and space, all the distances could be measured. Your progress not only could be measured, it could be perceived and translated through 5 senses. But you see, there are these 5 senses, but you have the 6th sense of this emotion. And this is what we're calling this relationship to your non-physical energy. You have 2 points of relativity. You have 2 points of attraction. And you know what's so crazy about your point of attraction and your inner being's point of attraction is that your inner being never has resistance. And even if we can measure the resistance that your inner being does have, or like the doubt, it wouldn't even be acknowledgeable or translatable by any machine that you could create, because the resistance is just that small and unreadable. All that to say, you know what the greatest value that your inner being gives you, and that your inner being is your guidance system, is that your inner being is your guidance system. And your inner being never doubts what you want. You see, you could be standing in a room and there could be everyone in the world and they could all be screaming at you. They could all be agreeing with the fact that you're not where you want to be. They could be being like, well, this is your bank account, this is this is that, this is that. And you know what? Everything that they're saying is real, but your inner being, even in amidst all of this conversation of talking about what is and being the drum of where you are and the reality, your inner being will not agree with them. Your inner being is so good at focusing on one thing. Your inner being is so good at focusing, having pure desire and focusing on the vortex version. Because here's the thing, to your inner being is already the match to everything that you want. So there's 2 realities going on at once, and that's what this emotional game is all about. That's what your emotional guidance system is about. Do you know that you're more than this body, and that this connection that you have is to that more, to your bodiness, is to that source energy that you are still in connection with, which is the basis of your guidance system here on earth. You have moment to moment guidance, and that's really crazy, because when you see the absence of something, your inner being saying, well, we don't see it. And so there is this tug of war, and you know who always wins? Your inner being. But while you're here in this physical body, this tug of war can make you sick. This tug of war is literally what your life experience can be about when you're observing reality. Because you know what's really crazy is that your inner being is telling you, well, we see it, and you're saying, well, I don't see it, because you don't see it. You don't see it with your eye yet. And we're saying, we agree with you. We're not saying that what you're looking at is an illusion. We're just saying that what you're looking at is old reality. What you are looking at, what the current reality that you're observing, no longer needs any of your attention. Because ultimately, you just have what is itis. You are so obsessed with the reality that you can see, and you know that your obsession with reality, with being real, with being truthful and responsible, that very responsibility, that very habitual thoughts that you have, that feeling of like you have to do something for someone, and that you have to be realistic for someone, and that you have to own up to who you are, so you can be seen in your society as someone who's productive and someone who works hard and someone who is a go-getter. While that all is a piece of, because you're a natural born uplifter and you want people to uplift You want to uplift people with your own being. You want to uplift people with your own energy. That's all fine. But we want you to get the cart before the horse. Everything that you want is just a vibration away. All you have to do is really tune to it, just like a radio station. The thing about vibrations is that you're so good at observing vibrations. You're so good at observing vibrations that you don't even realize that you're doing it. And so when we say that it's just a vibration away, what does that really mean? Well, since you are so good at observing vibration, because you don't know that you're observing vibration with your eye, because you're so good at it, you're so trained that you were born with these really good sensory capabilities. And so you don't really know about, you don't understand that your emotion is telling you that what you want is real, but you're fighting your inner being. You and your inner being have two different perspectives. That is if you're not really believing your desire. And guess who wins? Well, sometimes, you will win, but in the long run, your inner being will win, because when you re-emerge back into your body, you and your inner being really become one. And that is what the gap is. The gap truly is, or that negative emotion really means that your inner being has left you or has expanded beyond your most focused or your most practiced belief on that subject. So if you feel a really fearful negative emotion at the sight of your bank account, that's because you have more practice, a feeling of shortage, a feeling of fear about where you're gonna get money from, and you've gone really deep down into that emotional guidance system. You've gone really deep into that emotional scale, all the way down to almost fear. And the thing about fear is that your inner being strongly telling you, we see it, and you're saying, well, I don't see it. And so there's this tug of war, and we're saying, why don't you let your inner being win? Why don't you give into this vibrational meter that you have, this vibrational understanding? Because once you and your inner being, we're gonna talk about this. Once you and your inner being become one, then that point of attraction, that's what musicians are on. That's what these writers are on. This is what all the masters of your time were always on. They became more than a human body, a human in that moment. They became encapsulated. They became concentrated source. They became one with their source energy. And that's what we're telling you. You have to become one with your energy, whether or not you get what you want. Because that's what we're saying. When you focus on the emotion of what you want, you do it for the reason of feeling good right now in this now moment. Because here's the thing, whatever this process is, whether it's scripting, whether it's meditation, whatever it is, it's all an attempt to get you to practice, identify, isolate, and practice or calibrate to the frequency of your desire, the pure desire, not the absence. You have to get familiar with it. And so as you get familiar with it, you begin to tune to it. And as you begin to tune to it, then it begins to fill in around you. It's like, imagine there's fog, and as you continue to, because when the desire is first born, the frequency is still very new. It's fog, because often what's absent is still in your mind, and the presence of it, or the solution, the problem, is more absent and more clear and more vivid. And so that really gets in the way of your ability to tune, because while you're tuning to the frequency, while you're on, and most of the time, this is the thing that's so interesting, is that most of the times you're on the frequency, you feel the harmony, and what that means is that what that translates to you as is that you feel good. You feel really good. And all we're saying is that as you're feeling good, then you've latched right onto the signal. You've done everything that you needed to do. But the only thing that slows it down, the only thing that halts all of your process, not indefinitely, but just for maybe that day or maybe that moment, is you're constant looking for results. That constant looking at reality. Reality will always shoot you in the foot, because when you don't see something, you declare it as not here, because that's natural to someone who has 5 senses. But now that you're vibrational, now that you understand that not only are you more, but the very basis of your guidance system is that you have 2 points of relativity, one that's vibrational, one that's physical, and the vibrational version of you is always in the current reality. And guess what's in the current reality? All of your desires. And this old reality that you're now seeing with your eye is old. The thing about this old reality is that this old reality, and focusing on this old reality, can get in the way of being able to tune to this new reality, or this current reality. That's really interesting, isn't it? Because then it's like, how can I tune to this new reality? Seriously, that's really the question of, not only do I not have to settle for less, but how can I get to that more? And we're saying all you literally have to do is care about how you feel. That's the most simply, and not only, but that's really complex. Because what does it mean to care about how you feel? It means that you're willing to ditch or deactivate or walk away from a thought that doesn't feel good. Because you're like, yeah, it's real. Yeah, everyone agrees with it, but I'm not thinking that, because when I think that, I just know what it means now. I know what negative emotion means, because negative emotion is not a bad thing. We're not here saying negative emotion is a bad thing. Negative emotion is an extremely good thing. You want to know when your hand's on that stove and it's hot and your hand is about to burn. You want to know that. And it's the same thing with your emotions. You want to know what's going to happen. You want to have foresight. And so your inner being is sending you literally signals, and that's what negative emotion is all about. So we don't want you to become numb to negative emotion. We want you to love and celebrate negative emotion. But when you understand the value that negative emotion gives you, then you're always going in the right direction now. Then you know how to quantify your journey. You know how to head in the right direction. And truly what that actually means is that as you begin to care about how you feel, you begin to literally mold your perspective so that you're like, you know what, I do have money, because I can feel it. I feel the money. And now when you talk about your money being here, you're not talking about your money being here because you want it to be here because you don't have it yet, and because you think you need to do something in order to happen. You're like wanting to do something. You're talking about your money because it just feels so good to be a whole being now. It feels so good to be full, because the gap that you feel, that empty feeling that you feel, is not because you don't have what you want. That is one thing, but nothing will fill that gap or that hole in your heart, or that empty feeling. Nothing will fill that except for alignment, except for being one with your source. That's why we say the journey is truly the joy. The joy is in the journey, because it's really all about catching up to source. It's really all about becoming one with source, because that's your main goal. That's what the art of allowing is really all about. It's about becoming a whole being and not a half bleeding being that's walking around and demanding things from other people to make them happy. No, you're like, well, I know where the source is. I know how to get into that receiving mode. And so friends, life is good, and everyone's learning so much, and we're all becoming so much more clear, and this conversation keeps coming to a new point. And this new point truly is understanding that your emotions, because here you are out in the field, but no one's guiding you. Your emotions are the only thing that are guiding you. So when you feel the negative emotion, it's your job, if the momentum isn't too big, and you have to know that, your job is to now talk about what's on the other side of that negative emotion, because you have to feel it. You have to talk about it like it's real right now, and your emotions help you do that. You don't really have to do that much work. All you have to do is reach for it, and the reaching for it is the hard part, because you're reaching for something that you can't see it with your eye, but you can feel with your emotional guidance system, that you can feel with your emotional solar plexus. You can translate it only with your emotions. And so we want you to become that blended version. We want you to become source energy in a body. What we're talking about right now is a magical carpet ride life. We're talking about things that are happening all around you, and you're like, damn, I just pulled up and I was happy. I was just happy, and before I knew it, I had a crazy idea. And that not only was that idea crazy, but it felt so good, and it felt so real, and I daydreamed it. And before I knew it, it was just filling in. It was just happening. I wasn't really thinking about it. It was just happening right in front of me. It was neutral. It was easy for me. It was natural. And so it's really so fun to create these videos on our end, because we love talking about law of attraction. We love talking about co-creation, but it's not fun without you, because your unique energy and your unique asking, your unique summoning of the source energy is what makes it such a fun and valuable experience. For there is no leading edge without two people to experience it, truly, because if it was just us, then and this is what the economics of your planet is about. This is what money is exactly about. It's about exchanging energy. And people would exchange energy with beads, but money is just the most portable, most easiest way to transfer it over. It's just the easiest way. And on the subject of economics, what's the most valuable thing that you can offer one another? Think about it. Source energy. It's alignment. It's the clarity that only comes from the connection with source energy, or the alignment with source energy, or the connection that is only understood and mastered and embodied when you're following the guidance of your emotions. So friends, the world of Notorious is opening up. Yes, we're calling it the world of Notorious because it is a world and it is notorious. It will feel famous in your mind. It will feel like something like, wow, that made me feel like something, no, not that I didn't feel before, but something, it awakened to something that was already inside of me, because you're the asker of the questions. You're a part of all of this. And so as the message evolves, as we gain more subscribers, the message will not always be the same, but it will continue to go to new links. We will continue to find new ways to describe everything. So continue to interact with us. Feel free to drop your comments down. We love listening to all of your comments. We love reading them. We love the energy that you take time out to craft into these words, because while you do write the words, we feel the energy of the words that you're trying to translate the vibration to express. We hope you follow that. Yes. We love the comments, so continue them on. There's so many that do come to mind. Like, for example, we have Moonchild, who is so unique and whose energy we can feel all the way from across the screen. We can feel you, and we hope the acting career is not only thriving, but see, you know what's crazy is that we're in your vortex. We know what's in your vortex, and not only do we know, we're there. And so as we offer these words, that's what we say. It's all about your unique calling. It's about your unique asking, because as you ask and as you summon, we're here to answer. We're not only here to answer, we're talking to you on many levels of your being. And so the world of Notorious is about that. The world of Notorious is about reminding you what you already know about yourself. It's about being and talking from the inside of your vortex and calling you along the path of least resistance to who you are, because you're the one who's going to get there. You're the one who's going to make that slam dunk. You're going to make that home run, because you don't want someone else telling you what to do. You want someone who can tell you and help you with the formula, not help you, but being to you the clarity that is this formula of the energy that creates worlds, aka law of attraction, so you can apply it yourself. So yes, what has been coming onto our radar is something called Stand Store, and if that's something that you understand or something else that you could recommend, please do, because the World of Notorious is going to expand into something that's not only just these videos, but it's something, and it can be many things. It'll be courses, it'll be ideas, it'll be newsletters, it'll be things that you can take with you that not only act as sort of a reminder of who you are, but as an extension of who you are, as a continuation of these videos, so that you can not only be reminded, but you can take this energy and go and create and do what it is that you want to do. These videos and these creations of ours, they put you in the vortex. They just do. And while you're in the vortex, you get the value of being in the vortex. And do you know what the value of being in that vortex is? That magical moment, that magical mode where you just feel like, yes, I can have everything that I want. That's what the athletes are all on. That's what the artists are always talking about, that zone. While you're in that zone, you're going to get ideas. That's what's crazy, is that you can't talk about the emotions for long until you start to get ideas. And as you start to get ideas and really care about how you feel, now you're off running. You are off running, and you become a master. And these words will always hit, because we're always talking to you at different levels of your being. And it's really about the frequency that we're emitting when we're talking, and you can feel it. You can really feel it in your solar plexus. You can feel the change that these words are bringing to you, because we're tuning your frequency. As you spend time with us and you listen to what we say, and as you join us in the World of Notorious and purchase the courses, which we want to hear about, what interests you, what questions are you asking that you would love answers to. As that all happens, as you tune your frequency, you have a new set point. Your life is not only going to change, but it feels different. People around you are going to be like, damn, you must be doing something different. You are, because I literally just seen you talking about that. Your life went from 360. You did a 180 in life. You're a star. How did you do that? And you'll tell them, the World is Notorious, or I just felt good. And so let us know, how are you feeling about your desires? What are you desiring? What questions do you have? What connects with you? What has been resonating with you? What resonance have you been feeling? What piece or what gem are you really not only taking away, but it's something that you're gonna take into your own mind and chew on it and find your own and own it? What is it? There are many of you out there, and we so much enjoy this interaction, because this time truly is priceless. And shout out this time and space. Shout out this time where we all decided to join in on the fun, because we're like, it's gonna be a lot of fun, so we're all deciding to come. Shout out Jaden. Shout out all the ones that are out there commenting. Let us know how you feel, what resonates with you, and what would you like to see? What would you like to see? Because we are incomplete without you. Well, we are complete with the vortex, but we're here to play with you. We're here to have fun. We're here to take thought beyond where anyone has ever been, because that's the joy of all of this. The joy isn't about getting to the bottom of anything. The joy is spending time to really come together to talk about deliberate creation, to talk about the law of attraction, and to not only talk about how we can have a better life, and how everyone can have a better life, but how we can all feel good and truly enjoy the journey, so that we can be that blended source being that we really and truly came here to be.